We're back at 7:42 this morning, and this Black History Month, as people are spending more and more time researching and preserving their family's past, Macon Western finds out about the free resources at Macon's Washington Memorial Library and how it leads the Southeast in geological and historical research.
We cannot talk about Central Georgia history, and especially African American history, without talking to Muriel Jackson, the head of genealogy in the history room for the Middle Georgia Regional Library. So thanks so much for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, go ahead and talk to us for people who aren't familiar with the Washington Memorial Library. Talk to us a little bit about it and what might surprise people when they step inside.
Well, the Washington Library, we just celebrated 100 years of service in that building this last year in 2024-2025. And it's a very unique building in that when you go up to when you go in the front, which is actually the side now, and you go to the second floor, the original, you have a gigantic rotunda top there, which is interesting because you can whisper and hear across the room. Also, during the time that the library was being completed and getting ready to open, ladies of the Daughters of the American Revolution said, we need a research room. Yeah. So they talked to the board, library board, and got permission and started now, what is now the Genealogical and Historical Room, which is one of the best known in the Southeast, because it was the only place to research below DC. And so we just celebrated 100 years as well. So we're very proud of it, and people still talk about, did you go to Macon? You know, you go to the state archives researching, they say, well, did you go to Macon? And people are like, I'm from Macon. They said, well, you need to go to the library. That's where it is. They've got more than we have. So your library is a source of knowledge, and it's changed over the years. When I started there, I've been there 36 years. When I started there, we had microfilm, we had 2 Apple IIc computers and lots of periodicals and books, and now we're meeting modern technology. We have a computer lab. You can get books on tape, you can get books on your phone using the different apps and so forth. So Macon's library system is keeping up with technology to try to provide all the resources that people want. We're trying to be good stewards of our funding.
Yeah, definitely people, if they haven't already, should go check it out, take advantage of
the
the
library
resources.
card is free. All you have to do is fill out the paperwork. Yeah. And one of the most important things too is we're part of the system called Pines, which is a statewide system, so you can check out books in almost all the Georgia counties except for about 4 of them. So you can check a book out, say in Savannah when you're on vacation, and come back and bring it back to Macon.
Yeah, definitely people should be making use of this resource that's available to them. Talk a little bit about the Memory Lab and how that's contributing to preserving our state history.
Well, the Memory Lab, I was joking about they had a grant for it, and I like to keep my hands a little bit in grants, and so I asked our director if I could just play with this grant. Sure. And this was right before COVID. We applied. It was called the DC Public Memory Lab grant. And we got it, and we were shocked. And then it was like, oh my God, we've got to do this. What is a memory lab exactly are we going to do? And we got the grant, and what it does is it gave us the technology know-how to be able to put together VCRs, which most young people have no idea what that is, cassette tapes and everything else. So people can come in, they can make an appointment online. There's a video online telling you how to do each one of the items, whether it's a VHS or flash drives or even floppies. So you can back up, because I've had people come in very excited. I had one lady that I knew, I had to go upstairs because I didn't know what was wrong. She was crying. Yeah. It was a VHS tape with her father on it, and he'd been dead 20 years, and that was the first time she'd heard his voice, and it got to her. But the important thing is people are trying to preserve, they're cleaning out houses and want to preserve what we recorded. Everything we had, everybody had a VHS machine and they recorded. And so we're finding little bits and pieces. They can also go in and scan negatives, slides, and you get a 3-hour window there. And so, you get people that come back constantly because they want to do something. Or we've had a number of people who want to ensure that each one of their children get a copy of the item because they only have one copy.
Yeah, that's a very cool tool. Again, if you haven't gone to the library, you have to go check this out, because many of us did record our memories and put them on VHS tapes, CDs, technology that we don't quite really use anymore. So that's definitely a great tool. Talk a little bit more about how some of these improvements kind of help set the library apart. I know you kind of already got into this, but delve a little bit more into how this Walt Library is kind of a model for others with the resources that you guys have.
Well, we're set up with our memory lab that anyone in the state of Georgia who has a library card can come in and use it. So if you're from, say, Houston County and you want to use the lab to record or to repair or whatever, you can do that. And so it's making people more aware of their precious memories that they have, things they've forgotten about. And it also, people also, we offer them the chance if they'd like to place a copy in the archives for preservation purposes as well.
Very neat. Tell us a little bit about yourself and winning the Vanguard Award. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it seemed like 2024, 2025 was my year to get various awards. I got the Vanguard Award. I also received the award from the Wimberley Institute, which is an African American history group for helping to preserve and so forth. So you don't think of yourself as doing anything that you enjoy. And so I think it's wonderful to be recognized, especially for historical things, because people tend to think of history as being dry in a book or something. But the fun is in locating and trying to help people locate and understand the history, how things are so different when you drive around Macon. Now, I remember as a kid, my dad there's a book out called Sunday Afternoon Drives. And they would put us kids in the car and we'd drive around and he'd talk about different things and take us for ice cream and then we'd go home. Well, people don't do that anymore because the majority of the things I saw as a kid are gone. So you don't have that reference anymore. It's, grocery stores and drug stores and so forth. And so getting those awards and acknowledgement of what I'm trying to do to help preserve the history was very good.
Yeah, well, congratulations to
Thank you.
It's definitely good that you're getting these awards because it seems like you're such a wealth of knowledge and you're doing a lot of work with preservation. Talk a little bit about the message that you want to share about the value of knowing your history and preserving that history.
You can't appreciate your history if you in the present as well if you don't know where you've come from.
Right.
I mean, Macon used to be, we've always been considered one of the larger towns in Macon. But, for years, we're working on now our Middle Georgia Regional Library African American History Committee. We've decided we want to try to gather as much as we can of the history of East Macon. Because most people don't realize there was something there before the Coliseum, a very vibrant neighborhood. Before Baconsfield Shopping Center was built, you had the park, and before that you had a neighborhood. And so people can't appreciate how far we've come if they don't know what obstacles people overcame or what people did to get where they were today. So, Macon used to be more industrial. We had Bib Mill number 1, Bib Mill number 2, Procter & Gamble. You had, they called it the soap factory, because that's where they made Tide and so forth. And so you need to understand how your ancestors made a living, what they did to make a living, to appreciate that you don't have to do it now.
Really quickly, is there any Black History fact that you'd like to share with us in this month of Black History Month?
Well, we have, in the last few years, we have managed to get 3 African American historical markers put out. One at the intersection of Forsyth and Pine, which talks about, that used to be a major business district for African Americans. You had insurance companies, you had education, and so forth. So you've got that. And then the other one, the one I think I'm most proud of, is the one on Poplar Street at 3rd and 2nd, which is where the slave marks were in Macon. Most people didn't realize we had them, and then in researching we found out we actually had a brick mark, and they talked about it, so we know exactly where it is. People see that picture of Poplar Street where they show the cotton being bought and sold, but that was also where individuals were bought and sold. So it's a very interesting history. So it gives you a more inclusive history if you're able to know about the Black history. And for instance, 13 WMAZ is sitting on a major piece of land that was education. This is where Central City College / Georgia Baptist College was, and it ran from, as my father used to say, from creek to creek all the way down to where the military facility is now. So it was a huge educational facility, and people talked about it during May. They'd come out here and have May festivals. People would come together, socialize, and enjoy themselves. So a lot of that's gone now.
Well, Well, thank you so much for coming in studio and sharing all of this good information with us. We're going to pop some information up on your screen really quickly. You should check out all of the resources available at your local library or by heading to the Washington Memorial Library. If you're dropping by, that library is located at 1180 Washington Avenue in Macon. Go over to their website, biblib.org, for a full list of all the Middle Georgia Regional Libraries, their services, and their hours.